Concept design. Now, concept design or designing a concept is very interesting topic because it's actually everything starts with this but actually ends with this also. It's very interesting. If you think about it, you are actually doing something not you can really touch with your hand. In your mind you dream about it, or collectively you dream with your client, and then you actually plan resources to achieve the real reality in the real material life. So it's very, in a philosophical way, it's actually quite interesting subject. So for a concept design, if you're not doing something as a practice, you have to have a client. And the second thing you need, once you have a client, you have to know your client, whether it's a person, family, or a company or an entity. And the third thing you have to do is the understanding client brief. Client brief is something you have to be careful with because clients always don't necessarily know everything they want, or they should want, or they should know. So you have to come up with your own brief from your professional background and from your standard checklists. And then the fifth thing you have to do is to have the final brief with your client and sit and agree on something that you're going to go for. Now in this one you have to define three things: some kind of a budget, some kind of a time frame, and some kind of a quality understanding. This three is the key for a successful end result. Because if you don't set the expectations high, if you ask me, any kind of concept is already somewhere in that unknown parallel universe is already set in terms of quality, money, and time. You just need to pick that up. And if you pick the wrong one, you will probably give a wrong promise to your client, either over or under achieve it. Now, once you have the brief, you have to finalize and refine the space requirements in a very careful manner. After the space requirements, the procurement strategy is the key, because the procurement strategy will give you. You see, this is, since concept is there, we never talk about yet the artistic part of it. It's just kind of mechanical what I'm talking about, but it's the artistic version of that one. You have to do them in a very artistic manner, I would say. Procurement strategy is the key. Like nowadays, we have a lot of space specialists that we are working all together, right? So these specialists are always coming up with very deep verticals that you don't have any control. Once in a while, someone comes up and says that, oh, we have the slim system, we have that material, or we can print this one on this. Now we can go for 200 meter spans without any columns. We have a new material that's very thin, so these kinds of things will always change the way you do things, because somebody is doing something better, cheaper, and lighter in many ways. So the procurement strategy is the key. Who's going to do what, when? Who are your expected suppliers? Is it going to be custom made or ready made? How are you going to combine them? This is the key. Now, once this is there, then you can talk about an artistic view, a mood, some kind of benchmarks that you can set the tone of the project. Once those are there, all combined, we can go for a planning. Of course, bubble diagrams, you show your functions, how they work together, and then you can. I'm talking about, of course, an architectural program here, but kind of it might kind of overlap partially with interior design also, and most of the other design practices like product design or industrial design. Once you have this planning and massing, so your mass, the overall skin has shown itself with a kind of plan manifestations. I think we need to really talk about it, not a very detailed, but a good bill of quantities in the direction of estimation with the expected budget. Because once you have the plan and massing, you have the quantities that you can define, and the rest of the things are actually in your control, because you are the ones who are selecting them. Once you have this artistic direction, the planning and the massing. Now you can come to a more visual things like color selections, and if you select a color, you obviously should have select a material, which also kind of defined in procurement stage before, procurement strategy stage before. Now you have everything you need to go for the visuals. You need to do some study visuals and go back and forth, and then the final presentation day comes. You present it like as if it's a Ferrari car that you just buy after 30 years of working. What I mean is, presentation day is very important. The location that you select, the thing that you wear, the things that you're going to speak, your preparation before the presentation, go at least 1 or 2 hours before, prepare the place, prepare your laptop, your presentation, do it, a quick run over to it, put your material samples on the right locations. If you have printouts, arrange them properly. This is the key thing that you need to be really working. And once the presentation or during the presentation, a certain person should take notes, and you have to always refer to the things that you actually couldn't include, because a presentation only can become completed once you added the things that you couldn't write or say there, but you added these words there. You cannot, of course, win the presentation by talking only. It's very unlikely, but still it will at least help for the success of the project, probably maybe 10-20% as far as I understand. And if in case overall you get an approval, write the feedbacks properly, probably repeat them before the presentation, after, don't leave the presentation, repeat them to your clients quickly, and then represent it with the comments there, and voila, you have your design for the next stage. And the next stages will be, in a summary, I'll telling you, schematic design, which will include more disciplines from different parts. By the way, we didn't forget here other disciplines here. Of course, you should talk to a lot of different disciplines here, but more superficially, if you're a good company, you will have a lot of people that will help you without causing too much headache in terms of financial requirements, obviously. That means you are a very high network company and a person in terms of designing. Of course, the best concept designs comes out from the multiple disciplines involvement in the concept stage. And next will be the schematic design, where you will have even more engagement from other disciplines, and then later on detailed design. Almost most of the things will be defined with the BOQ and specifications in detail. Your design will be ready for construction shop drawings. Thank you very much.